It looked like it could be a day four finish, but you never know with Sri Lanka. We have seen time and time again that they have forced partnership. They have pushed India to the last day, which was the case in Gaul as well. Let's see what happens. But in this session, four wickets fell, two obviously by Siraj, and then two first by Mohammad Siraj and then in Ravindra Jadeja. But then there is an injury concern as well with regards to Mohammad Siraj, who tried to take the catch of Pasindu Surya Bandara, Manav Sudha's bowling, but then end up hurting himself. And it was that bad that he had to take off the field, and then Gurnoor came in as a substitute. So we'll talk about this session. Devashish, first.
But Siraj was already back. Okay, he returned to the ground, so nothing serious.
So nothing serious because Devashish was there at the ground. He was bringing you all the lovely pictures down from the ground. But Devashish, India's session, four wickets India took, and obviously they enforced the follow-on. So now it's about how quickly they can finish this game up.
Cricket is a very uncertain game, Vaibhav. Means obviously that decision was taken keeping in mind the rain forecast.
Yes.
But so far there has not been a semblance of rain. And if it stays like this, when Sri Lanka, the way they have approached this second innings, very attacking, very positive, especially, yes, unfortunately, Pasindu Surya Bandara is still there, Kamil Mishara got out. But the way they approached the game, the intent they showed, it was a positive. They are still 130 behind. But if coming to Mendes, obviously a lot is expected of him. If this player can take that score to close to that 130 mark, means and give, obviously, if they can take a lead, even I saw a tweet of Doda Ganesh as well, means the decision to enforce a follow-on, which was the second since to July 2024. I think that has got to do with the rain forecast. But suppose Sri Lanka takes a lead of around 150, 160, 60 overs, 65 overs, it will be very tricky on the fourth innings. But for India, they need to get those wickets time and again. They cannot have a partnership going, and this pair, as I say, Pasindu Surya Bandara, apart from Sonal Dinusha, has looked very composed. He scored 80 odd in the first inning, and second innings also he looked very. Means obviously that shot, means he was quite comfortable stepping out, playing swift shots. In fact, in trying to be over aggressive, I would say Sri Lankan batsmen are trying too hard to score runs.
Yeah, and that is why they have scored over 100 runs in this session, combinedly in the first two innings. But if you look at the wickets column, they have lost 4 wickets. Even if you talk about a Pasindu Surya Bandara, there's a shift in approach that we are seeing, Devashish, that he's trying to be too over aggressive, as you said, and he created 2 opportunities. One was obviously spilled down by Mohammad Siraj, and then there was another opportunity that Ravindra Jadeja created, that he played a loose cut shot, but again Prasidh Krishna couldn't hold on to the catch. Ravindra Jadeja was visibly very frustrated. So now what we have seen in the first innings of Pasindu Surya Bandara, he was not looking, he was taking his time, but now he's looking to score runs, and that gives India an opportunity to take his wicket. Already a couple of replies, but if he continues to bat in the same approach, there will be chances created.
Provided Sri Lanka keep on scoring runs like the intent they have shown. But if I was in that Sri Lanka camp, I would rather build on a partnership. The focus for the Sri Lankan batsman, yes, I know it is not ideal for batting. Day 4 wicket, it's always going to be challenging. But what is incredibly important for Sri Lanka now that they have been asked to follow on is to build a partnership. You have a partnership of around 80, 90, take that total to around 130, and then you can think about getting that lead. So I think, but anything might happen. The weather is absolutely fine. But I think Prasidh Krishna and Siraj once again, that bouncer. Incredible. We were speaking about Siraj yesterday after post-day play that Prasidh Krishna has outshined him, but come Siraj, that dismissal. It was a Lahiru Udara had no clue whatsoever. It was a well-directed bouncer. He tried to avoid, and then he was in an awkward position trying to pull that shot.
Yeah, he was caught in two minds whether to leave that or whether, because he got inside the line of the ball, and that's why he caught himself in at the crease, and then ugly position to be in while playing a hook shot, and then there was a fielder place. So again Lairu Dara, despite being in good form, I don't know, he hasn't made his form count in this series. But coming to Mohammad Siraj, we spoke about him yesterday. Not a single delivery touching 130 plus 135, which we see from Mohammad Siraj usually. And if you compare it with an average speed of Prasidh Krishna's average speed has been 137 in this test match. So he obviously, we were talking that whether it's what is wrong with Siraj. Is there some problem in his with his body or something? But today the way he started, looked like a complete. Obviously, he didn't share the new ball at the start. It was Ravindra Jadeja who started the proceedings, and then from one end, Prasidh Krishna and Saranjan, they were bowling in tandem. But when Mohammad Siraj was introduced into the tandem, he looked like the bowler of we have seen time and time again in red ball cricket, and that wild, well-directed bouncer shot that Siraj is. That was yesterday was just a one-off day. Siraj is still the same bowler.
That's the reason we should not criticize. Obviously, we are not criticizing for the sake of it, but it was an off day. That
Yeah.
is, means obviously everyone will accept it was an off day for Mohammad Siraj, but he seemed to be enjoying. Look at that effort that the catch he spilled out. He he was totally on air. Means he threw his body in trying to grab that catch, but in doing so he injured himself. But that is Siraj for you. Means he's a lion-hearted cricketer. Every time you count him out, he will invariably uh, do something that will inspire the team. And that today it was a perfect delivery. India needed an early breakthrough, and it was that Siraj who gave it.
And before we talk about uh, much about what is going to happen in the second session, let's talk about what happened in Sri Lanka's first innings. Two wickets were required. There was a partnership, 30-odd run partnership between Lairu Kumara and Sonal Dinusha. Sonal Dinusha obviously completed his second century. Fine young prospect for Sri Lankan cricket, and it looks to be building on from strength to strength in every innings. He's proving that he's growing maturity. He's showing maturity already beyond years, but with every innings he's showing signs of improvement. But Devashish, yesterday, despite bowling well, we talked about this as well, that Sarang then bowled really well yesterday as well. Bowled more number of maiden overs, looked more economical. And yesterday you said you were not quite impressed with the way he bowled, but today was he better? Did he impress you today?
Lairu Kumara got out trying to get him over the
Yeah.
cover fielder, and in doing so he got caught. But yes, see that is what you have been drafted in. You have to give the breakthroughs. Means yes, and that it's a collective team effort. And see now you have see there have been contributions from all the spinners, and suddenly India is looking in ominous in trying to set scores. Means obviously seal the test match and the series. Um, I won't say I won't say Sarang's den has been extraordinary. He has looked good, but the more he performs, the better for him because ideally you have to do something extraordinary to seal a spot in that playing 11. It can't be getting rid of calendars obviously, and Sonal Dinusha has to go after him with
That
nine
was a
wickets.
good delivery. It was a off spinner's delight. Tossing it up, drawing the outside edge, and then slip catch to KL Rahul. That was a good delivery. He didn't
And
play a rash shot.
you can look at the reaction also. Not much celebrations from the team as well.
Yeah,
They were just going through the motions. It was both the dismissals because Sri Lanka were just 13 runs short.
yeah.
And
But that is where that wicket was crucial. If those 13 runs would have been scored, India couldn't have enforced the follow on, and that is why those two wickets at the start became very crucial. We were talking in the build-up of the day as well that how quickly can India wrap this tail up, and obviously then it came down to Saraj, and it was a good decision by Shubman Gill. Yes, you can say two left-handers in, so there would be a temptation to start with an off spinner, but when you have bowlers like Mohammad Siraj, Prasidh Krishna, Ravindra Jadeja, Manavita, all of them are very good bowlers. Then at times captains get confused at with whom you can start. You started with the Ravindra Jadeja. He only bowled one over, and then he quickly changed the ends. And I think Ravindra Jadeja was bowled only to change ends, only to bring the Saranjan from this end, from the media end, and he did really well. And I think Shubman Gill captaincy in the first half an hour, first hour, which was very crucial. That phase was very crucial, was on the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shubman Gill, in fact, in the goal test as well, he has done well with his captaincy in this series. Yes, except for the fact that he has underbowled Kuldeep Yadav. But I think overall, if you look at talking about particularly this test match, he has rotated the bowlers. He has given equal opportunity to all the three spinners in the playing. So I think, and he has always kept in attacking field set. Means even if there has been a partnership, he had made it clear that he wants to get rid of the wickets. So, and that has been really heartening. He has also scored some runs. So I think, all in all, he, I spoke to Roy Dias as well. Roy Dias is regarded as one of the best in this when it comes to batsmanship. He is in the same category as Roy Dias, Dilip Mendes, Aravinda De Silva, and he also is quite impressed with Shubman Gill. The way he is evolving both as a batter and as a captain, and he in that interview did say that Shubman Gill can go on to at least play for 10-15 years, and he has all the qualities to be a good captain, and he is showing signs here in this series.
The only thing that Shubman Gill needs to work on as a captain is, on the DRS decisions, because DRS is something that he hasn't been doing well with, because it's been over an year since Shubman Gill has taken the Test captaincy. But if you look at the number of decisions, DRS calls that have been gone in Team India's favour under his captaincy, it's only 6 out of 46 times. So that is something that obviously Shubman Gill can work on, taking better calls on the field when it comes to the DRS. But apart from that, bowling changes, field placement have been quite better, as Devashish also noted from the last game. And that is what you want to see from a young captain. Constant improvements from game to game. You would like to want to see. But let's talk about Manav Devashish, because whatever he bowled in the second innings, Sri Lanka's second innings, he leaked runs more than 7 runs per over. Obviously, you shouldn't go to the economy rate, but it seemed like he's getting desperate for the wickets, and that is evident when the catch was dropped when Mohammad Siraj dropped that catch.
I think it was because of the approach taken by the Sri Lankan batters, because they were trying to rattle him, in trying to unsettle him, not to get his rhythm, because he is a rhythm bowler. And in these conditions, if you look at the short selection of the Sri Lankan batters, they were continuously looking to play sweep shots, reverse sweep, in fact. So I think the approach, yes, you don't go by the runs that has gone up. You might very well come back and produce a beauty and grab a couple of wickets, which might prove to be the turning point of the match. So, but I will be quite interested to see what would be the approach of the Sri Lankan batters in the second session. With 130 still trailing, will the Sri Lankan batters go after the Indian bowling as they have done in the first session, or will they build on a partnership? Because after this, they have a Dhananjaya De Silva, they have a Niroshan Dikwela, and Sonal Dinusha. So I think they have batting, but key will be to stitch a partnership. A 2-3 good partnerships, that lead might stretch to more than 150.
And from an Indian point of view, obviously India will be looking to wickets, and they would be happy if Sri Lanka go with the same approach as they have adopted in the first session. India would not complain, yes, because that would create chances. If a Pasindu Suryamandare is attacking the bowlers, especially the spinners, that will keep spinners into the game, and Indian spinners won't mind. Even a Manav Sudar, even if he's going for runs, he won't mind as long as he's taking wickets. And we have seen Manav Sudar bouncing back after a dry spell. If there is a dry spell in the morning session, we have seen him bounce back in the later half of the day, and that is what Indian team would be hoping from, not just from Manav Sudar, even from Ravindra Jadeja and Siraj, and to keep on building the pressure and take wickets, because it's now just a matter of 8 wickets. It's not about anything else. It's about 8 wickets, and even if Sri Lanka take the lead, India would want that lead to be under 150 so that they can chase that total easily, because again, 4th innings batting is never easy. Where irrespective of the conditions, irrespective of the opposition, 4th innings batting won't be easy.
I am time and again, it is a very funny game. No? if the weather stays like it is going to be a perfect batting. And obviously, 4th day wicket is still challenging, but The way Sri Lanka, that is why I am saying it will be very crucial to see the approach of the Sri Lankans in the second session on day 4. Means it's a thin line. It's a thin line. It's a either you go after or you uh, stay in the middle and stitch a partnership. Depends on how what path they take. But Indians will have the luxury having still got a lead of 130. So, but once that scores are level, then Shubman Gill will have to think whether to means obviously whether to spread the field or keep an attacking field, because you cannot let that score. The strange things have happened in cricket. Means I am still keeping my fingers crossed for India to win. Yes, everyone sees India wins a matter of 8 wickets, but 2 or 3 good partnerships, Sri Lanka might take a handsome lead.
If you are in a Sri Lankan camp, you would want to take that inspiration from the Gaul test that was played in 2015 when Dinesh Chandimal played that once in a lifetime kind of a knock. There's no better knock that he has played in his career. 162 off 169 balls, and then that Rangana's Harrod spell, where he took 7 for. After being enforced to do the follow on from that position to winning the test match, I think Sri Lanka can take inspiration. This is also a young team. That was also a very young team. Yes, Kumar was still around there, but that was a pretty young team, and they can take inspiration. But for India, it is very simple. They have to take wickets, and for that they have to build pressure, and they have to induce the false shots. And let's see if they can do it or not. And we will obviously be back after teas. Let's see what India's position will be, how the game pans out in the second session. An interesting session coming up, and we will be back post live. So don't forget to join us then. And it's a goodbye for now.